Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we'll be reviewing the third mission for the current event, that being the Duel of the Ages event. But before that, there is actually one thing that I forgot to mention about yesterday's update. We were able to get a preview of one of the first modern World War II Soviet battleships, this being the Tier 7, which is Project 64, but I've renamed her Poltava. And this is how she looks so far. So you have three triple 14-inch guns, and you have, it looks like Tashkent main guns as secondaries, honestly. We'll have to see how those work. Just off the bat, she is very, very similar to Kronstadt, which was expected. Actually, she's a little bit smaller than Kronstadt, actually, even though Kronstadt has smaller guns. And yeah, she actually looks really, really nice. There is a very long bow here and a lot of freeboard here. So it's going to make for a very nice target. That being said, the rest of it doesn't look too bad. You have a good amount of superstructure. You have some AA mounts, though I don't think her AA defense will be all that great, but it might be pretty decent. I don't know what the full stats will be because you have upgrades here, including addition of extra AA guns. So her AA stats will be changed, and I can't see what those are until I actually have the ship. But overall, the ship itself looks pretty decent. She's very fast at almost 30 knots, so especially at this tier with Colorados and West Virginias and Nelsons, it's definitely going to be nice to have a ship that goes pretty fast. I feel like she's going to be quite similar. She's going to be a mix between two ships. She's going to be very similar to Prince of Wales with her main guns as 14s. And I feel like she's also going to be similar to Gneisenau in regards to her speed and armor and also maneuverability. So that is how I am equating the ship so far, but we will know more once the ship actually is released for playing. But until then, all we can do is look at her, and she is a very nice looking ship. The secondaries here, this one actually blocks the other one, so you can only have one forward facing, but in the rear, looks like you can have them super firing. She does have a catapult on deck, but her stats do not list any kind of aircraft, so she will not have any kind of fighter aircraft. But I'm excited to see what this ship can do. Alright, so moving on back to today's video, the third mission. So I'm going to take this time to show off another sister ship that came out after the video. This time we're going to do Vanguard. So I renamed her Thunderer, and honestly I really, really like this camo. It's a very nice camo. Also, going back, I have renamed Temeraire Conqueror for her camo. We will not be playing this ship in the mission because it's a prism ship and I'm only doing tech tree ships, but this is how she looks herself, and she's actually not terrible. I have still not played her with the sister ship yet though. Alright, so today we're going to be doing Vanguard, and let's see what the third mission has. So I actually did this one earlier this morning, and it's not impossible to do this mission with Vanguard, but Vanguard's not the best ship to do it with either. So what you have is you have a couple battleships. Actually, you have 5 battleships? Nope, only 4. You have a Katarina, Rostislav, Svetsky Soyuz, a Moskva, and an Alenevsky. Now you do have quite a formidable force on your side as well. You have a Ranger, a couple sister ship New Mexicos, a couple New Yorks, Atlantas, and Omahas. But honestly, they're really just there for cannon fodder. So the first things first, you're going to have the Soyuz on this side, you're going to have an Alenevsky right here, and an Ekaterina on the left hand. So we're going to have armor piercing loaded for the Nevsky when she starts turning. And then we have to focus on the Soyuz and Ekaterina. When I first did this mission, I used Illinois because that's my go-to event ship for right now until I determined what is best for the level. And I was able to completely one-shot the Katarina and Soyuz with the 16s and just let the secondaries take on the Nevsky. That being said, when I used Vanguard this morning on this level, I was not really able to get a lot of citadels on the battleships with the 15-inch guns. And you can see here, I'm even struggling to actually citadel a Nevsky right now. So your guns definitely are not as strong as some others you have. They are 15s on the Vanguard, so that would explain why. But yeah, she can still do the job, she's just not the best one for the job. As you can see here, I'm putting a ton of shells into this Nevsky, which if it was any other ship with 16-inch guns or higher, she'd be sunk by now. But all you can do is a little bit of damage here and there. That's not to say Vanguard is a bad ship, it's that she's a tier 8, pretty much going up against tier 10, so she's obviously going to have a disadvantage right off the bat. Alright, so I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied as well, so do keep that in mind. When I actually press my speed boost on the ship, I almost get her to 40 knots, which does certainly help. Another good thing about Vanguard is she's a British battle cruiser, which means that her high explosive is actually really good. That being said though, Katarina and Rostislav don't have that much superstructure to actually burn, so most of the time it just hits the main belt and shatters. So it's best to usually stick with high explosive or armor piercing in regards to them. For the Soyuz over here, I think armor piercing would do pretty good, and as well as high explosive, but she's kind of out of range here. Alright, so we got a fire on the Katarina, so assuming she doesn't get sunk right there, she would have burned down. I guess I'm going to switch over to high explosive over here, and then start making my way towards the right a bit. Almost got her. Alright, so there is a Moskva over here. There's still in a Katarina and a Rostislav. So I know I have high explosive loaded. Last time I played this mission, they all started going this way, so it looks like it splits up, or it variates. There's a variation in which side that these second wave, I guess you can call it, will pop up from. Considering she's in gold, high explosive is the better option right now, but as soon as she gives a broadside like this, at that point armor piercing will be better, but I still did a decent amount of damage, even set a fire. And I can show you what a high explosive will do to the other battleships over here, though I feel like I don't want to be giving complete broadside to them because that is a lot of 16-inch guns, and we're kind of on our own right now. Right, so I'm not too worried about the Moskva. She's just slinging some high explosive at me, and it won't really do much. Right, so high explosive at Rostislav. I kind of aimed high to try and hit like the upper deck or upper belt. And you can see you still do damage and you can still set fires, but if I had armor piercing loaded, it would probably do a lot better. Just dodging all of these shells. One thing that, if you haven't already noticed, is that the Soviet quad turrets are not like the French quad turrets. They are like the British quad turrets. You fire all 4 barrels at once instead of having 2 twins arranged in one main turret. So it does help, but if you only really need like 1 or 2 barrels, you still have to fire all of them. Alright, so we have what, 3 fires on Rostislav, so we're gonna let her cook a little. Vanguard, or at least in the experience I've had with her to date, cannot be overmatched by 16s, or at least not by the shells that have been fired my way so far. So nose in, I'm pretty much invulnerable to all these shells, and that's fine with me. Rostislav is still burning. We're gonna take a gamble and try and swing out our rear turrets for a Katarina here. We might take some damage, but I don't mind. And we got 1 fire there, So towards the stern of the ship. So let's see if we can get one closer to the bow as well. No, we got a few pens. I'm going to switch to armor piercing at this point and try and cut them off on the other side of the island. Though I don't want to give too much side. Yep, see, because you get a nice chunk of damage, and even with armor piercing, you're actually going to struggle to citadel these ships. They have a decent armor against anything below 15-inch guns, I would say, but 16s and higher, you just get absolutely annihilated. But that's at like point blank, close range, full broadside is when I was shooting these ships. So their armor schemes themselves are not actually that terrible. So even like right here, I'm less than 5 kilometers away, full armor piercing into the side, and I just get my first citadel on the battleship. And then I'm gonna try and not take a lot of damage from the Katarina as she swings all 16 of her 16-inch guns at us with limited success. But right here, 4 kilometers out, I'm getting pens, which is nice and all, but no citadels. So I'm gonna have to nose back in. She is the last ship though. And I'm not gonna swing at my rear turrets this time. That's a lot of 16-inch guns that I don't really want to tangle with. But I think she's going on the other side. She's making a full U-turn. And so once the wreck of the Rostoslav is out of the way, we're going to put some more 15-inch shells into our stern and finish her up. But still no citadels, only just straight pens. So as you can see, Vanguard is not the best ship to do this mission. There's plenty other ships that are better, but she can still certainly do it. And we were able to do 286,000 damage, 2 ships were sunk, 88 shell hits, 1 aircraft shot down, 2 citadels, 8 fires, 1 module destroyed, and 106 secondary hits. Damages wise, we had what looks like 86,000 damage in fires, and we had 42,000 damage in high explosive, 152,000 damage in armor piercing, and secondaries actually did almost 6,000 damage as well, so that's actually not terrible. But as you can see, Vanguard can be used to take on this mission just as a normal tech tree ship, but there is plenty other ships that are better, specifically the Space Montana is a very, very good event ship. She's actually the top ship I would recommend. She's identical to just the normal Montana, besides the camo. So if you have Montana, definitely would recommend using her for any and all of the event missions. I'm just kind of sticking to middle tiers to try and give myself a challenge. But those ships are definitely good as well. So tomorrow we'll be going over the 4th mission for the event. This one you start seeing a carrier. This one would be where you start seeing the Coral Sea. So it does have quite a bit of a difficulty raise there. But that's for tomorrow. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. And join me tomorrow. We'll go over that next mission. So again, thank you and take care.